Now at 5, we're going to learn about some of what will be on the ballots in Missouri and Kansas next month. Plus, kids in Joplin learn about nature through a camp hosted by the Wildcat Glades Nature Group. And
a defiant President Biden resists calls to leave the race. I'm Nicole Skanga in Washington with more on the president's letter to congressional Democrats.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
With the holiday weekend behind us, the countdown is on to the August 6th primary, and in Missouri, mail-in voting is already underway. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Ballots in Missouri will include 2 proposed amendments to the state constitution. Amendment 1 would make places that provide child care outside of the home exempt from property taxes. It's not clear how much that could impact local tax revenue. Amendment number 4 would allow the state legislature to require a city to increase the minimum funding for a police force established by a state board of police commissioners. This specifically would impact Kansas City's police force, which is the only police department governed at the state level. Kansas has no amendments on the ballot, but a number of candidates want your vote for the U.S. congressional seat in the 2nd District. 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats are competing for their party's nomination. We interviewed all 7 of those candidates, covering such topics as immigration, inflation, and abortion. You can see those interviews unedited on our website. Go to koamnewsnow.com/elections. Some area voters will choose nominees for county assessor on August 6th. KOAM's Amber Jenkins examines what that position entails.
Lisa Perry is the current Jasper County assessor and the only candidate running for the role on the August 6th ballot. Perry has held the elected position since 2019. According to her, an assessor only sets the value of property for the tax bill, which is sent to the collector's office for payment. The assessor's office abides by the state statutes and is held accountable by the Missouri State Tax Commission.
For personal property, we assess all personal properties, boats, trailers, motorcycles, cars, farm machinery, livestock, and those values are set from the valuing guide.
Every Monday leading up to the August 6th election, we'll learn more about the elected positions on the ballot. Next week, we'll learn more about the role of a county coroner.
Amber Jenkins, thanks. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, we've been dealing with showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon, the remnants of what once was Hurricane Beryl, which made landfall in Texas this morning. So where you got the rain, upper 60s, lower 70s, where you don't, it's pressing 90 degrees. Look at these bands of showers, thunderstorms, especially along and south of the I-44 corridor. Very heavy amounts of rain. We have flash flood warning in Jasper and also northern parts of Newton County due to the heavy rains. Miami all the way back to Veneta to Grand Lake, Neosho, Pineville, where you see the oranges and the red showing us those heavier amounts of rain. We're going to have periods of these showers and thunderstorms as we go through the evening hours, just bands kind of rotating through, and then eventually we'll start to get out of here by tomorrow morning. It also really starts to heat up. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
I'm going to set a
Catch in a few. Some kids in Joplin enjoyed the great outdoors today while learning about nature. The Wildcat Glades Nature Group hosted its 2nd annual Camp Wildcat. Students learned about wildlife, plants, rocks, and more through hands-on activities. They also learned some skills to safely explore the outdoors.
Camp is really important to connect kids to nature, and it's also important for them to get good outdoor skills. We also just want kids to learn about the park and enjoy it as well.
That camp runs through Wednesday but required pre-registration. Today is the first day of Pitt State's Summer Robotics Camp. That program will introduce middle school students to robotics and programming basics. The program hopes to spark an early interest in STEM and help kids develop skills they can use in college. At the end of the program, the students will put their skills to the test and compete in a robotics contest.
The kids love it because, of course, it's working with Legos, doing basic robotics to do kind of fun tasks. But we try to help them be able to figure out how these skills will engage beyond the classroom into their lives as they go on.
That camp runs through the end of the week. President Biden spent the day making phone calls to Democratic lawmakers, trying to reassure them he is the only person who can defeat former President Trump in the fall. Nicole Skanga has more details from Washington, D.C.
President Biden has launched an aggressive push to rally support with Democrats.
I am not going anywhere.
Biden called into MSNBC's Morning Joe and admitted his debate performance marked a terrible night, but says he's still best positioned to beat former President Trump in November.
I wouldn't be running if I didn't absolutely believe that I am the best candidate to beat Donald Trump in 2024.
But the president is losing support of a small but growing list of House Democrats who say they don't believe he can beat Trump after that debate performance.
The polling is going in the opposite direction. I think we have to be honest with ourselves. The situation is not getting better. Frankly, it's getting worse.
In a letter sent to congressional Democrats Monday, the president argued that voters are the ones who get to pick their nominee, adding, "The voters have spoken." But Democrats in the battleground state of Pennsylvania who spoke with us seemed split on the issue.
Biden just needs to step down and let someone else take the reins.
At this point, no. It's a little too late for that. I think he'll do fine.
Even Biden's supporters called this a critical make-it-or-break-it week for him as he works to turn around his campaign ahead of next week's Republican National Convention. Nicole Skanga, CBS News, Washington.
Now, so far, no Democratic senators have called for Biden to step down as the Democratic nominee. However, a few are contemplating the issue. Colorado Senator Michael Bennet issued a statement today saying he'll have talks with his colleagues this week to discuss the most viable path forward for Democrats. Still ahead, a record number of Americans traveled for the holiday weekend, why many are having a hard time getting back home. And next in Health Watch, we're going to meet an 8-year-old cancer survivor who's creating a nationwide movement around patches. Topping today's Health Watch, it seems like there's a day for just about everything. Donuts, pizza. What about patches? Well, thanks to a young Florida cancer fighter, there is now a National Patch Day. And as Lauren Pastrana shows us, it's all in the name of positivity, one patch at a time.
Oliver Burkhart is a warrior, and this jean jacket is his suit of armor.
I gotta say, I do love the dragon on the sleeve.
The soon-to-be 8th grader was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia in May of 2020.
It was a hard time, but either you can be humglum, sad, and be like, oh my gosh, this is never gonna end, or you can just get through it, like power through and just get it done with happiness.
So his dad, Brian, took to Facebook asking people to send patches, just a little something, to bring a smile to his son's face. To his surprise, even strangers sent them in.
And in 1 month's time, we received over 2,000 patches.
And so the Oliver Patch Project was born.
This is my first jacket. It's the one I got, the patches from that people sent in the mail.
Now, cancer-free for almost 2 years, Oliver and his dad send out personally picked patches on jackets and tote bags to other cancer fighters. Last year, the project was selected for a special designation.
Out of 25,000 applicants, they accept 30 new national days a year, and last year we were granted National Patch Day.
More than 1,400 warriors all over the country sport their unique patches with pride. Even former Miami Heat star Shaquille O'Neal dons the denim. For Oliver and his family, this is a mission to spread positivity and kindness.
Just to make sure they're loved and supported.
Putting a little sunshine in these kids' and families' lives is huge for us.
That will never go out of style. Lauren Pastrana, CBS News.
Now, if you'd like to donate to the Oliver's Patch Project or know of a cancer patient in need of empowerment, log on to oliverpatchproject.org. New research finds people who walk regularly have less low back pain. About 700 people with lower back pain participated in the study. Those who followed a walking plan that included 30 minutes of brisk walks 5 times a week were significantly less likely to report low back pain compared to participants who did not walk. U.S. military women deployed during times of combat are 53% more likely to experience chronic pain afterward compared to service women exposed to less combat. That's according to a new study published in JAMA Boston. Researchers also note higher levels of chronic pain reported by female family members of combat-exposed service women. New study finds women exposed to fine particulate matter in the air prior to beginning in vitro fertilization were nearly 40% less likely to give birth. Australian researchers conducted the first of its kind study to analyze the effects of pollution on all stages of IVF. They found women exposed to pollution 3 months and also 2 weeks before EGG retrieval had lower birth rates. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, after years of scandals, Boeing is pleading guilty in a fraud case. We're going to learn what it means for the company.
Plus, scattered thunderstorms sticking around as we go through the evening hours. Details coming up. Well, of course, not a bad Monday for us today. Showers and thunderstorms developing during the afternoon hours with the remnants of tropical moisture, which is rotating through. So some of you have been getting very heavy amounts of rain. Other areas haven't had a drop, especially in our northwestern counties. Looks good. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, look at the thunderstorms, which have really been blossoming, especially along and south of the I-44 corridor. Of course, where you see the oranges and the reds, that is showing us the heaviest amounts of rain. This is all due to Hurricane Beryl that made landfall, went right through Houston, now lifting up into northeastern parts of Texas. Of course, with it on these feeder bands, you always get a lot of tornado warnings, which you can see southern parts of Arkansas. We're not going to have to worry about that, but we are getting those outer bands from that tropical moisture, plus a weak little front that is kind of draped through, really right along I-44 into northeastern Oklahoma. So here's Grand Lake. We can track a little bit farther toward the east. Some moderate rain through McDonald County, northern parts of Berry County, picking up a little bit on the south side of Joplin, then over toward Mount Vernon, up toward Carthage, and then it lightens up once you get north of Lamar in southwestern Missouri. But we are going to have these periods kind of sticking around as we go through the evening hours, and especially on the Missouri side, you'll see those rain chances sticking around through the night. All right, periods of showers and thunderstorms. Here's 9 p.m. Not really expecting anything severe, but some heavier rains, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning. Still some hit and miss showers. Here's midnight, and then lighter rain kind of works in southwestern Missouri as we go into the morning hours. Here's 4:30 in the morning. We can go to 7 a.m., still showers in southwestern Missouri, and then it will start to exit as we go through the morning hours. Rainfall potential, a lot of areas are going to pick up quarter, half an inch. If you get stuck in underneath one of those stronger storms, you could pick upwards of an inch or two very quickly, which of course we need the rain. So scattered thunderstorms this evening, kind of hanging into lower 70s. You can see where it's raining, 71 in Joplin, 69 in Anderson, but then it's 90 in Neodesha. Independence is sitting at 90 degrees. Rain, 7th and Rangeline, 71, southeasterly winds at 10, gust over 20 miles per hour. All right, all this works out as we go into Tuesday. So by noon, upper 70s. Tuesday's actually going to be a pretty good day. You're going to have a few hit and miss showers in the afternoon, but temperature is great. About 82 for an afternoon high. Tomorrow night, we back down into the mid 60s for overnight lows, and then heading into your Wednesday, a little bit hotter as we get near 90 by the time Wednesday afternoon rolls around. Moving into Thursday morning, a weak little wave may give us a random isolated shower Thursday morning into the daytime hours on Thursday. 67 to start, 78 by noon, high temp 82 for us tomorrow. Now, the heat starts moving back in. So here's Friday into the mid 90s, mid to upper 90s again by the time we head into Saturday as well. 82 tomorrow, 90 on Wednesday, isolated storm Thursday, 96 Friday, 96 Saturday, and then triple digit heat moving in for us next week.
Don't like that intense heat, but it's good to get some occasional showers.
Yeah,
this
we
time
need
of
the
year.
rain. And some people have had quite a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Hey, 145 million Americans are feeling the heat today. Excessive heat warnings are in effect for many states out west, along with heat advisories for parts of the East Coast and Deep South. That's after sweltering on the Strip in Las Vegas and record temperatures in California's Death Valley, where a motorcyclist died from suspected heat exposure. But the heat still draws tourists to the hotspot.
It's almost like climbing Mount Everest. How many people can say they actually climb Mount Everest? So it's just being there in the hottest place in the world.
It's worse than an oven. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like an oven. It's like walking in the oven.
Or a hot hair dryer.
Or you open the oven after 350.
Yeah.
It's in the face.
Excessive heat and humidity are also intensifying wildfires out west, with the lake fire in Santa Barbara quadrupling in size since Friday. The Salt Creek wildfire continues to spread in central Oregon. Coming up, Hurricane Beryl impacts the return flights for thousands of 4th of July travelers. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Boeing is paying a fine to avoid prosecution. A great big fine. That's according to the Justice Department court filing. It says the aircraft maker has agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy to defraud the U.S. The charge stems from 2018 and 2019 crashes in which 346 people died. The document lists the fine as up to $487 million. Air travel for the July 4th weekend set new records at airports, and now the trip home is being complicated by a major storm. Chris Van Cleve has that story.
A sea of people flooding Miami International Airport Sunday, leaving the security line stretching across the check-in area.
When I've been here before, it hasn't been this busy. I can't believe the TSA line is 30 minutes. That's wild.
For much of the Independence Day holiday, air travel was running smoother than last year, with thousands of fewer flight delays and cancellations. But that's changed in Texas. With Beryl hammering the Gulf Coast, United, American, and Southwest canceled dozens of flights in Houston and other Texas cities because of the storm. Anna Lima and her young son told Aralise Preston they were leaving Los Angeles Sunday morning for Brazil, with a stop in stormy Texas.
I just found out this morning that there's a hurricane going through Houston, and that's our first stop.
AAA predicted the busiest 4th of July ever, with many of the nearly 61 million expected to drive heading home Sunday, as gas prices are the lowest they've been on the July 4th holiday in 3 years. Ed Wiest and his wife were on their way back to Pennsylvania after vacationing in the Outer Banks.
I think it's supposed to be a 7-hour drive without traffic. It might be an extra hour from slow down here and there.
Despite significant delays at major airports across the country Sunday, the TSA says it was the busiest day at checkpoints ever, with the agency screening more than 3 million people for the first time since the start of the summer travel season. The TSA has now had 9 of its 10 busiest days ever. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Americans expect inflation will continue to wane during the next year. That's according to new consumer survey data released by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. The survey, conducted in June, found year-ahead inflation expectations declined for the second month in a row. It went to 3% from 3.1%. Big shakeup in the entertainment industry. In a landmark deal, storied movie studio Paramount is agreeing to merge with Skydance Media. The agreement is worth $4.7 billion. Skydance and Paramount already have had a long partnership, producing some of the industry's biggest blockbusters, including the Top Gun and Mission Impossible franchises. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, meet the youngest recipient of a high-tech bionic arm. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to learn more about the robotics camp hosted at Pitt State. Plus, a big announcement for the City of Joplin program aiming to help people afford new homes. And a Field Kindley High School football standout announces his commitment to play at the Division I level. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Some of you getting a lot of rain at the moment, some of you not getting any rain at all.
Yeah, scattered showers and thunderstorms continuing as we go through the evening hours. Heaviest rain along and south of the I-44 corridor, and still some showers sticking around all the way into tomorrow morning. Then a pretty good day, partly sunny, high temp, 82.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.